right, what is up, guys? I told you we are moving fast with these book reviews. Well, that's because also I wanted to get this book out of the way because this was a short book. The next book was super short, so let me get it real quick. And then hopefully the next book I can get on my Kindle. The only thing that we lose is the color. That's the only thing about Kindles, that we lose the color, but it's okay because it's about the story. And then I can base the color and the art online. So I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, let's get into the book review. So today we are reviewing A Quick and Easy Guide to Queer and Trans Identities. This was on Flan's list of mine, so we read it. I'm gonna give you the synopsis. It's not a story, by the way, it's a legit guide, but it is a story in a way. I'll explain it. But so anyway, so I'm gonna explain to you, because the good thing is that the authors and the illustrators left a whole story inside. So what they said, when my child told me that they were gay, I was fine with it. I knew lots of gay people. It was a non-issue. A couple of years later, he told me he was trans, meaning transgender. I was fine with that because I love him and I trust him. But the truth was, I didn't know much about what being trans meant. Over the past almost decade, I have been fortunate to have him as my wonderful, compassionate, and patient teacher. Something I'll always be grateful for. This book reflects much of what I've learned from him. Here's what I've gleaned so far. The journey to learn about oneself, especially in the sphere of gender and sexual identities, is a long and interesting one. There are similarities between people who embark on this journey, but it's also different for everyone. What works for one person might not work for another. Everyone has the right to figure it out for themselves. What pronouns they want to use, how they want to dress, and whether they want to dress like. That every day, or whether they like to mix it up, whether they want to take hormones or not, and also how much, when they want to come out, and how they want to do that, and much more. Also, don't put yourself in a box, especially in someone else's box. Let yourself grow and change and learn. That's what being alive is all about. So that's the meaning behind why they wrote this book. And let me tell you one second. Before I get into actual nitty and gritty, I wanna give you my full opinion, which normally I do later, but I just have to give it out. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 already off the bat. And let me explain. It's not really a story, it's legit a guide. It's the most perfect way to describe all these different things. It goes between what is queer, it goes between what is self-identity, all this stuff. What is gender, I just said that. What is gender identity, wow. What is dysphoria, what is relationships, all this stuff. It literally, I cannot tell you that this is the most perfect book. Now I will say this isn't for a kid, or I think that maybe a kid in 6th grade can read this, but there are some big words in here that I think that younger kids will not be able to understand. There's some words in here that I don't even know how to pronounce. And I'm freaking going into college, but I'm not the quickest. But this is a 5 out of 5 book. And they have so many other books that they have like this. And I feel bad because in the last book review, I dished it out based off what Flan had on a little post-it note. I was like, what the freak's it got to do with mushroom? But it's pretty much, this little snail is describing everything. It gives so much great advice on gender identity, what being queer means, and not putting yourself under this umbrella, and then relationship advice. It is incredible. And also, I will tell you this, I'll put in the link. I didn't do my research, but I can find this book online. I think a lot of these books you can probably find online, but the whole book is online for free. It's a PDF, but an amazing, amazing book. Sorry, I just had to give that out. I just want to be honest with you, 5 out of 5 right off the bat. Let's get into the actual book review. Like I said, I'm always gonna have a script in front of me. So unless you want me to go off a tangent, I gotta have a script. All right, so first of all, the art is adorable. It is so freaking, what? Look at this, there's this. So this is when they're just like, when the snail's done talking about something, they kind of give an example of it. And so the example is when you're in this world with these people, right? But this is the whole coloration. This is perfect, and this is small. I don't know if you guys can tell, this is the size of it compared to my head, right? That's small. And it's only 96 pages. Because there's also, like, you own this book, there's stuff that you can do at the end. I'm sorry, that's the receipt. I gotta return this today. Tells you to make this jacket with your friends, or if you have any notes, write them down, stuff like that. Anyway, back to what I'm gonna talk about. So, like I said, I love the color. It's friendly, it's colorful, and you don't feel judged while you're reading it. I feel like that, well, no, I still wouldn't feel judged while reading it. Now, there's some people like, oh, I wouldn't read this in public if you're scared to read it in public because it's like straight in your face. Who cares though? But it's like small enough that maybe people won't pay that much attention to it. Anyway, so this book really tries to cover everything from sexuality to gender identity to coming out, relationships, even things like dysphoria, like I said earlier, and also how to be a good ally. So you can get this book and you don't even gotta be queer, you don't even gotta be nothing. You could just be dogging it, but you still wanna learn. It doesn't feel like in a way you're being invited into a conversation rather than sitting through a lecture. It's like you're being talked to, but like it's very interactional because it's also very colorful. God damn it, sorry. freaking ringtone's going off. One thing I really like is that they use comics and worksheets and even like interviews when they're talking. The whole point is that these children snails were asking questions. So this other snail was like, I'm just gonna describe it to you. And then there's like that interviews, artists, all this stuff. Like I said, it's an amazing book. So it's not just perspective. It brings in multiple voices from different queer and trans communities. And for me, that gave me so much depth because it feels like real, because no one's experience is the same. In this book, there was interviews and the snail kept saying, you're not going to have the same experience that this person's gonna have. They were very, very keen about that. Like, no one's experience is ever gonna be the same. There's no possible way that your coming out experience or just your queer experience or just your life experience will be the same as everybody else. I apologize for the background, y'all. I'm still in the process of moving. I'm living out of suitcases. What makes this book so good is that it's honest tone. It's approachable without being condescending. It works if you're new to the LGBTQ community, and it works if you're already trans or queer and you just want some affirming. It also highlights the community. There's this vibe throughout the book of like, you're not alone. And honestly, that kind of message is priceless, especially for people, young people, or anyone who's just questioning. You can question at any age. You can question at 60, you can question at 40, you can question at 13, you can even question at 10, you never know. Another big plus is that it's a book that you can really give to anyone, your best friend, your parents, your little cousin, your grandma who still calls the internet, I don't know, Google or someone that doesn't really understand. My grandparents got no problem with that. They're like tech savvy, damn near. Except for my grandpa, but it's fine. But reading this, if this was out during my age, I'm fucking old or something, but when I was in middle school, this would have been a lot helpful. But also, I am very privileged to say that I had the access to the internet way before a lot of my friends. I think I had the internet, I can't even remember. I've had access to the internet maybe since second grade. Maybe third, no, maybe first. Around first, because I had an iPad and all that. I got my first phone in second grade. Listen, I was living lavishly. I was watching everything. Minecraft was on every single day, but it still made me the person I am today. I feel like if I didn't have access to the internet like I did, I would not be who I am. I would not be able to do what I do. If I had this book then, I'd be like, wow, but I still figured it out because I had social media. But like I said, this is an amazing book. It's not a book though. Like I was saying, it's literally like a guide. It's legit a guide in a story format. But if there's ever anybody that you, or that even you yourself, you don't know much about it, I would definitely get this book. I'm gonna put the link in my description if you actually wanna check it out. It gives great advice, even if you're not queer. Like I said, it teaches you how to be an ally. It also gives great relationship advice, not just for queer people, just for relationship advice in general. Actually, I'm gonna tell you the one thing in here that I saw and I was like, they ate with that. Hold on, here we go. It's a myth that good partners shouldn't fight. Disagreement is all a part of asserting one's own personality in a relationship. The issue is when the disagreement turns aggressive or toxic. I think that's the one thing that people should take into consideration. If you never have a disagreement or argue in a relationship, something must be wrong. You just coughed on my bed. Y'all saw that too, you can see him. It is so normal. Here's the thing. There's a difference between arguments and disagreements. I've had so many disagreements. I've never had an argument. I've never had an argument before. Because you should never get to a point of an argument. You're just disagreeing on one thing. There's two people disagreeing. Argument to me is when you start raising your voices, which should not be normalized in a relationship. I think that in today's society, we normalize yelling at the top of our lungs to our partners. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. That is weird. Let's just talk it out. I've never argued with my friends either. I've never argued with nobody, my mom, but that's different, and my sister, but that's different. But like friend-wise, relationship-wise, I've never argued with anybody a day in my life. I have disagreed. We went back and forth, but no volume was ever raised. That is a normalized thing that we should keep. Let's stop raising our voices at people who ain't got no sense. It's okay to have two opinions on something, but it's not okay to raise your voice. It's not okay to try to force someone to see. It's different between trying to get someone to see your point instead of forcing someone to get your point. But anyway, I just went on a tangent. But this is why this book made me be like, wow. 5 out of 5, right on the bat. I can't give no advice on the story because there is no story. It is literally just a guide. But that is a quick and easy guide to trans and queer identities. Now we're gonna reveal what the next book is. I'm gonna hope that this next book I can get on my Kindle. If not, a book review won't be coming for a while because I have to get to Atlanta and then I gotta get a library card with SCAD, all that stuff. So I'm gonna show you guys. I can't see the back. I'm gonna let you guys see the cover first. It looks like a baseball or maybe a zombie with a lightning bolt. So I'm gonna turn it around. You guys can see it. I can't see it right now because it is literally backwards and I can't read it. Can y'all see good? All right. M is for Monster. M is for Monster by Talia Dundon. So that's the next book that we're gonna read. And then depending, you guys will know, depending on how long it takes for do another book review, if it was found online, on the Kindle, or I had to get it from the library. But that was in this video. I think you guys should definitely check this book out because I think that this is a book that, especially in this time, that people should read. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys at the next book review, maybe show review. I think a show review will be next before a book review. I really want to do The Good Place and The Owl House. There's so many things. I gotta write scripts though. Writing scripts get annoying, but I'm working on it. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next video. Bye.